Hi, everyone. My notes are on my phone. Thank you to Leah, Adam, and Travis, to Lean and our workshop, Jesus, Yoni, Kuzi. I'm beyond grateful to be here. I'm going to read, or I'm not going to read, they're going to read. They're going to read something new tonight. I want to hear the beginning and then the very, very, very end of the play that I'm currently writing. The play is about a group of Trader Joe's-esque employees. I'm not trying to get sued. In the early stages of forming a labor union. We never see them at work. We see them after closing shifts at the bar across the street. Jesus will be playing their favorite and also the only bartender. The play is framed by two scenes between two friends who, despite having worked together for 5 years, don't call each other friends and instead call each other co-workers. Talene and Yoni will be playing them. The play is 4 hours and 8 characters. And I sent the first draft of it in before coming here. And I'm going to attempt to read the stage directions that I said I would read. Yeah. Are y'all ready? Cool.
Cauliflower crust came in.
I don't want to hear about cauliflower
You
crust.
always want to hear about
I'm
cauliflower
depressed.
crust. He asked where you'd been.
Where was I?
In the walk-in, he said,
Stop.
I thought the cute cashier with the attitude usually works this shift.
No, he didn't.
You're right, he didn't. But he said your name.
Love that he can read a name tag.
He said, Cam. And I was like, pretty sure your name tag says Cameron.
Where are you going with this?
And then I was like, when did you and cauliflower crust get so intimate?
That's intimate?
That's intimate. And then I was like, maybe we should stop calling him cauliflower crust.
Only if he stops buying it.
What's his name again? I feel like it's Nico.
I don't want to know.
You know.
Nico Sebastian Valderas. According to his Delta Sky Miles Amex.
You got it bad.
Sophia's munching on some sort of green snap pea-shaped chip.
Did he get it?
What?
The cauliflower crust.
Yes.
People are so predictable.
Sometimes they surprise you.
Keep telling yourself that.
Remember when Meathead Matthews started getting the veggie gyoza? Fuck, gyoza sounds good.
No, real gyoza sounds good. Our gyoza sounds like some failed hippie idea of Japan rapidly disintegrating into your roommate's perpetually dirty, perpetually peeling nonstick pan.
How's I own the place, but really Erica?
Awful.
Have some pious peas.
That is not dinner. That is not even food.
They taste like cardboard covered in sea salt with a hint of seaweed or whatever they put on seaweed to make it taste like seaweed.
That shit is gonna kill you.
I'm hungry.
I prefer to drink my food.
Well, that shit'll kill you too. Remember when Alexis used to let us eat all the freshly expired salads from Prepared? Ugh, my body felt alive that year.
Didn't hurt that you were 22.
I miss it.
Real food or being 22?
The feeling of youth.
Capitalism kills that. So they can sell it back to you.
Oof.
Are you gonna get your head out of BC?
Before Christ?
Corporate.
We were always corporate.
Corporate. I can't believe Matthew Meathead dated a vegan.
Vegetarian. Green Goddess Gip, Paprika Pow, good for your gut ranch.
Oh, I forgot about her Greek yogurt-based dip fetish.
Opposites attract.
Their breakups and makeups were more regularly scheduled than our shifts.
The measure of a relationship is not its duration.
What, are you like listening to podcasts again? Usually when people are going through a time, their cart is like ube ice cream, chocolate-covered crunchy shit, every kind of cookie meats.
Cookie butter.
But with him, it was like, would you like 500 freezer bags of Bessie, Bambi, Wilbur, and all of their formerly grass-fed, free-range, no antibiotics, ever, sustainably #slaughtered friends?
I wonder what he does with it.
You mean like how many free...
Cauliflower crust.
Back to him.
Babe,
Yes?
we never left.
He puts it in the oven with marinara, low-fat mozzarella, and a couple of dumbass toppings on it, and then he eats it with his boyfriend. What do you think he does with it?
I don't has a boyfriend. If he had a boyfriend, we'd know about it. Yeah, we'd know about it. That or it's not serious.
Or maybe they don't buy groceries together.
That is not a relationship.
When was the last time you and what's his?
Brandon.
Brendan?
Brandon!
Wait, Brendan. Got groceries together.
He's on tour.
For what?
His band.
Maybe he'll forget to come back. You know who I miss?
A slightly less shitty ex?
I miss Alana.
Alana. Who cheated on me with her ex, and I found out because they came in together on my shift. Like, did they really have to have those unsweetened baby banana chips?
I like those. We should get those
And
back.
then we got wrecked, and I threw up over there, so now we sit here.
Those were the days.
You held my hair back.
Are we talking about
Alana!
Red has arrived with a bottle of red special sauce and tips off their glasses.
Thank
you.
you. Sorry again.
Oh, years ago. Vomit under the bridge. She came in a few months ago and asked about you.
What did you say?
I said, sorry, remind me who you are again? And then I said, oh, Sophia. Yeah, she's definitely still too good for you. And then I charged her full price for a mezcal mule.
That? Here?
Rude.
Thank you.
Always and forever.
Red disappears.
You make the best drinks, Red.
Yeah, can't beat the prices.
Jokes and Alana trying to make out with me that one time aside, you deserve better than Brandon. And Alana, too.
Should I be flattered or offended?
Why choose?
When did we get like this?
Like what?
I don't know.
Old and depressed?
I don't feel depressed. I feel
Stagnant?
I don't know what I am or who I am or if I am.
Red takes the chips from Sophia, squints at the label.
What is this?
Chemicals, a lot of them.
Organic?
Emphasis on the ick.
How about an orange?
Red heads down to the basement.
So, me? I'm like this. A lucky little birth defect.
And there's also
that. There's also that.
Do you wanna?
Nope, we don't talk about that. So, this is me. What you see is what you get. But you're normally a bit more alive and annoying. So you have bad taste in men and women and people who aren't men or women. It's normal, it's cute.
I think it's more than that.
Red slides Sophia a plate of beautifully arranged orange segments.
Bon appetit.
Thank you.
What about,
Red tosses Cameron an unpeeled orange.
Here, a vitamin.
what's a vitamin?
Oh,
Oh, you forgot the sticker.
Red takes the sticker from Cameron and inspects it in the light.
that's strange. I picked these.
Up? At
No.
a store?
No, from the orange tree growing in the basement.
Red still inspecting the sticker.
Did you add something? Cinnamon?
I might have.
When was the last time you had a vegetable?
Babe,
Yeah.
I'm a fruit.
Do you think people are depressed because they eat shit, or do you think people eat shit because they're depressed?
I think people are depressed because the world we live in and the people that have the most power in it are shit. And I think people eat shit because of big food, global food system failures, and because instead of subsidizing crops its citizens can actually consume, we've decided to become the United States of corn.
I don't want to go in tomorrow.
I don't want to go in ever again.
When did our jobs start sucking so much?
When all jobs started sucking so much, the moment they were invented, when some douche sack took over all of the communal land and forced everyone else to work for him. And then they started sucking even more when he and his Neanderthal descendants decided that we were all supposed to derive meaning from our jobs and to please smile while we do them.
200 years ago, having a job was actually considered an abomination.
And then they really started sucking when the small family operation, i.e. corporation, that we work for was bought by a Nazi.
He's a Nazi?
Google him.
Sophia shows Red something on her phone.
Whose one goal appears to be infinitely expand.
I don't think I like him.
And then they really started sucking when they hired a new manager, Ryan, who still can't find the void button, even though there's only one red button, and the only red button, or button in general, that says void on it. And then they started sucking even more today when Ryan and the new regional vice president made their little announcement.
What announcement?
They're opening a new location.
I thought they
Just opened one! And don't know how to run that one or this one, but why not open another one? Especially since they were able to use opening the last one as a super exciting excuse to cut our 401k contributions in half, get rid of 2 of our yearly raises, and increase the number of hours needed to qualify for health insurance again! But hey, who's keeping track? We sell sustainably slaughtered animals. Why should our 100% human workforce be able to afford antibiotics or a day off for the chlamydia that the guy with the bent dick, who swore only his boyfriend had it, gave it to them?
That was specific.
I wonder how you thought of that.
Somehow, business is going well enough to open 22 locations
22?
last year. Yep, and 18 the year before that. And yet, it's supposedly no longer sustainable for them to keep giving us the rainbow sprinkle cookie crumbles they've agreed to give us when they hired us to work here. They're a private company, so it is impossible to know for sure, but we're estimated to make twice as much as Gucci Grocery and 3 times as much as Natural Farts per square foot, making us, them, one of the fastest growing grocery chains in the country.
How do you know that?
As you know, I have a humiliation kink, so on nights when no one from the apps is down to demean me, I scroll back and forth between screenshots of their profit margins and my pay stubs, and I imagine a giant bukkake of Ryan's bosses telling me that I'm a worthless piece of shit and that I should be grateful to be making 1/300th as much of them. You should try it.
I'm gonna break the seal.
Enjoy the urge to pee every 10 minutes.
I have the urge to pee every 10 seconds.
Wait, should we smoke?
I quit.
For someone who quit, you sure take a lot of drags.
You know it doesn't count if it wasn't my idea and I didn't light it.
Smoking fixes everything.
It doesn't fix this.
Heading off to the bathroom.
Smoking fixes everything, but only for 3 minutes. Sometimes 10.
Which is exactly why I quit.
But see, that's where drinking comes in. Drinking fixes everything.
Until you break down, barf, or wake up and have to start living the same life you were living the night before all over again.
Cameron downs the rest of his drink, grabs his pack of cigarettes, opens it. It's empty.
God damn it.
Want another?
That depends. What are you?
Red juggles 3 oranges.
Did you know oranges aid in the absorption of iron and contain D-limonene, a compound touted to prevent skin, breast, and yes, even lung cancer?
To think I made it all these years without knowing that.
Is that
The final orange landing in Red's outstretched hand.
Yes?
I don't think my body can handle all that goodness. But I wouldn't say no to a little more of
Cameron nudges his whiskey glass towards Red.
that.
You're on the seltzer train after this.
Cameron sips his whiskey to make it last. The mood shifts. Red watches.
I feel like things had just gotten back to normal. Or to whatever the new, shittier than normal I had resigned myself to.
Are you talking about the new location, or?
All of it. Last night, Ryan sent everyone an email telling us to come in 15 minutes early for the shift, which it is what it is. So we show up 15 minutes early, and Ryan's like, oh, no need to clock in. Here, have a juice box instead. New product. So we huddle up, and he makes this little announcement, and everyone cheers, woo! But anyone who's worked here longer than half a second knows that everything that's about to come is gonna suck ass for them, for us, and kick ass for them.
Sound of the toilet flushing.
After the announcement, I'm on household, and I like household. A chance to hole up and hone in and make sure all the body, face, hand, oils, creams, butters, rubs, and emollients are looking fucking perfect. And then I hear a noise, a little, stop that. Like a pig dying in the back of someone's esophagus. And I turn around, and of course it's
Ryan.
And it's like, Ryan, do you have esophageal cancer or the world's weirdest vocal tick?
I think it's a tick.
Either way, he needs to get that looked at because unlike us, he has reliable health insurance. And so I turn around and I'm like, hey, Ryan. And he's like, hey, Cam. And he's like, how's it going? How's it going? And I'm like, it's going because what the fuck else am I supposed to say? The shift just started. And he's like, cool. And I'm like, yeah. And then I turn back around and I try to make room for something other than the 4 million bottles of tea tree twirl that someone who's never worked winter, probably Ryan, ordered way too much of it because it's March and the tea tree oil is drying as shit. Except I can't concentrate because all I can feel is Ryan standing there because for some reason, Ryan still hasn't left. So I turn around with 2 tubs of avocado body butter in each hand, and that's when Ryan gathers all 10 of his managerial training certificates and says, is everything okay, Cam? And I'm like, yeah. But Ryan doesn't blink or budge, so I say, is everything okay with you, Ryan? And then Ryan starts sweating. And then Ryan looks like he's gonna crap his pants, and he actually might, because for some reason, during the huddle, Ryan, a supposedly grown man, drank not 1, but 2 juice boxes. And then Ryan's like, yeah? And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, because somehow I did it again. No matter how hard I try not to,
You scared
I
Ryan.
scared Ryan. I, scared 6'3", would have loved kicking the shit out of me in high school, but hey, yeah, there's always next weekend. I'm a feminist. Are you? Yeah. Okay, white boy. I know, but I'm a white boy who played football in Texas. Did you know that I'm from? Yes, Ryan. We all know that you're from Texas. Well, in Texas, I played football with a lot of black. I mean, it's okay, Ryan. African. No, you can say black, Ryan. I can say black. So you can say whatever the fuck you want as long as you don't creep up on me 3 minutes into the shift that you made us all come in 15 unpaid minutes early for and ask me if I'm okay. I don't ever again. Especially if / what you really mean is what you're not like, okay. That you're not, okay. Because my mere existence stalking avocado body butter on the bottom shelf on my hands and knees is somehow still too threatening for you. But like, to myself, I said that to myself.
Yeah,
But to Ryan, I said, I'm great. Love my job, love my life. Did you know my mom died really suddenly, like out of fucking nowhere? 3, almost 4, yep, going on 4. Tomorrow it's gonna be 4.
Do you wanna?
Don't, months ago. And even though this company that we're all just incredibly, extremely, God, we're all just so fucking grateful. Have I told you today, or in the last 10 minutes, how fucking grateful I am? Ryan and Ryan's invisible bosses, who I know are fucking Ryan over too, albeit less, thank you so much for paying us slightly over the legal minimum. You want an award? And way under the living wage? What's that? Oh, how generally doing this thing we all call a job? How weird, how generous, how novel for you to compensate us for that. So, even though this company, thanks again, is always going on about how we're a family, a big happy family that drinks juice boxes, that I was told in an email that I needed to cover my own shifts for the funeral, and that if I needed the time off, that they would totally understand. But that bereavement leave, unfortunately, at this time, wasn't really something that the company, oh now, so you're a company, was in place to provide, like at all, like ever. But you're happy. Is it me, or is it weird that you're talking about being happy in an email that you're sending sending me right after I tell you my mom died to give me time off. But unfortunately, yes, it is unfortunate, isn't it, that it would have to be unpaid. Thanks for working here for the past 4 years. You're a star, employee of the month. Let us know if you need anything, I mean anything other than that, or anything else that you actually need. We couldn't do this without you, employee number 547787. I know in your email you spell your name with a K, but we're gonna spell it here with a C instead. #blessed.
Cameron
What
puts
happened?
I gave Ryan what he wanted. I gave Ryan what he needed. To feel safe and good and like I appreciated him. I put on my biggest, happiest smile and said, stoked for the new location. Thanks, Ryan, for checking in.
Great. And skipping ahead to the end of the play, 4 hours later. Almost a year has passed. They've started a union. They've brought on their coworkers. We meet 5 other people. They've grown, and in doing that, have grown together and apart, and they've had a rift. Cameron has needed to leave to take care of himself. Sophia didn't take that so well. It felt like a betrayal. The final scene is this additional long scene that sort of mirrors the one from the beginning, and they meet each other for the first time in several months, which is the longest they haven't seen each other since they met. And they make up. Cauliflower crust may or may not come back. This is the end, and Cameron says, what happens after this? And this is what Sophia comes up with.
Sorry, I'm forgetting. Do you want to start with got it? Or do you
This is the new play process.
Yeah, it really is.
You reach out.
Oh my
Page
god.
32.
Okay, thank you. I totally misremembered. I'm gonna give me a so I reach out.
So I reach out.
You reach out, and we decide to meet up on a Tuesday. You're not in school yet, and that's my day off, so Tuesday it is.
Tuesday it is.
And all those annoying people with 9 to 5s or 8 to 8s or 7 to 10s, they're all at work, and half the city is somewhere else, is on vacation, so it feels like it's ours for a second.
I like that.
We meet outside.
We meet outside?
We meet during the day.
What do you even look like before 4 p.m.?
You're wearing shorts.
I'm wearing shorts.
We get high
Hell yeah.
and have a picnic in the park.
What do we...
Carrots and hummus.
You know how I feel about...
Not just any hummus. There's a Tuesday farmer's market by the park, and we grab the good shit someone's selling from their cooler. And the flavor is simple.
Thank God.
The flavor is hummus.
Hummus.
And we eat it with carrots, not baby cut carrots, that are actually just big boy carrots that have been shaved down and bathed in chlorine. Did you know that?
I think Fred told me that.
We get real carrots with their tops still attached, and we carry them around the park like we're Bugs Bunny and Roger Rabbit. When we finally sit down, we bite right into them, and you tell me it's good, that there's still a little dirt on them because our microbiomes miss that, need that. Eventually, we have to pee, so we wander around looking for a free bathroom. We find a library, not one of the big ones, one of the smaller branches, and we take turns peeing in the family bathroom. We can't believe how big and how clean it is, how cared for. We thank the people that clean it. We take turns reading books, taking books off the shelves and wondering what we'd be like if we read them. We sit in the stacks, flipping through them, breathing in the artificial air. And then we decide to walk again. I find a jacket, and you find a stool that you want for your new apartment. We think we can walk with it. We take turns carrying it and sitting on it and carrying it and sitting on it. You say we can just leave it, but I say no, it's a great stool, and we're not in a rush, and it's totally worth it. We run into someone we both know, but from different parts of our lives. They're super into the stool. We let them sit on it. We talk about how great it is to run into someone you know, how great to get to know someone, how great to Run into someone you know and are getting to know better, and to see them and say hi. We keep saying great, and we comment on this too. Since when do we say great? How great to be living here, like right here with other people, even when the world sucks, or we suck, or other people suck, not all the time, but sometimes, and sometimes it feels like all the time, but right now it doesn't. Right now it feels great, and we're giggling, and it feels great to giggle. And then at some point we agree to go. We say, we gotta get your stool back. Like the stool is our communal kid. We agree to hang out again, both on purpose and on accident, and we actually mean it. We're actually looking forward to it. We carry on carrying your stool to your new apartment that somehow no one was murdered in, and doesn't have or appear to have an infestation, and that there are, even more miraculously, several windows in. And when we get to the 5th floor, sorry, it's a 5th floor walk-up, did I mention that?
No.
That's the catch.
I can live with that.
Good, because there's windows, and when we get to your apartment, you open the front door, and there's light coming in. You put the stool down by the entryway, and we do a little everyone goes to the bathroom and has a glass of water dance. You have a table, one table in your kitchen, and we sit at it and eat the warm, wet, but weirdly still kind of good hummus, flavored hummus with the 2.5 carrots we have left. You say you'll make us something. I say I'll help. You say no. You say I can pick the music. While I'm picking the music, you're looking in the fridge and saying you don't have much, but we agree that sometimes those are the best meals when you're like, well, what the fuck else am I gonna do with this? I play this album that has just come out the week before. I'd tell you what it is, but I can't because it hasn't come out yet. You say you were gonna ask me earlier if I'd heard it, the album, that you had just started listening to it the other day, that you also love it. You boil half a box of red lentil fusilli and a fourth a box of brown rice chickpea bow tie. You add capers and celery and frozen spinach and a few leaves of basil from the plant in your window. Oh, and you snatched the last half of a carrot from my hand. You lick the hummus off, and without washing it, you grate it.
That tracks.
You don't have Parmesan, but you have olive oil and lemon and cheddar cheese, and you're like, this might be really fucking weird or nearly inedible, but whatever, because we used to eat pious peas for dinner. I set the table, you sit down, we smile and say grace, just grace at the same time without planning it. We take a bite of your pasta. We're both a little nervous, but it's great. It's actually great, one of us says, and there it is, great, again, which makes us laugh. After we finish eating, but we're still sitting there leaning in and leaning back, I ask how you're doing. You tell me it still hurts, that there's still so much pain and grief and... Yeah, and so much and. But you say something about it is different, or that you feel differently about it, or that you've been noticing different things in it. You say you've been noticing how it moves, or that it moves, that sometimes it's in your back, and sometimes it's here, or here, or here.
Or here.
Or there, yeah. And you can feel it. It's real. You can feel where it is, that it's there, that it's in you, that it's part of you, but that it moves, and that helps you know that it won't always be there, or at least not in the same place, in the same way, forever. I try to get up to do the dishes, but you say no. You say, don't worry about that you'll do them later. You say, I can do them next time, and that feels good. You cooking and doing the dishes for me, and saying, I can do them next time, that there will be a next time. You ask me to help you decide where the stools should go. We try a few different places. We find a spot we like. It's a stool, so all we have to do is set it there. No drill or hardware or anything needed. We take turns sitting on it in its new spot, in its new home, and say, ah, yes.
Ah, yes.
We lie on your carpet. You don't have a couch.
Well, who has a
but
couch?
you have a rug, so we lay
Lie.
on it. We chat. We love to chat. The sky goes from that sort of summer indigo to navy blue. You don't have a lamp, so we let the room get dark while we stare out the window at your neighbor's tree that neither of us know the name of, but that we both say we want to find out the name of and actually remember. The room has become totally dark. Like if our eyes hadn't been slowly adjusting, we wouldn't be able to see. We both really have to pee. We don't want to get up, but we have to get up, otherwise your rug. We get up, we pee. It's hard being hydrated. I say, I'm gonna go home. You ask if I have work tomorrow, and I say, I do. That's the first and the only time work is mentioned, even though it's how we met, and even though it's a thing we both do, have to, that structures so many of the other things that we do. You ask how I'll get back, and I tell you I'll walk, that my phone says it's only 40 minutes. You ask me to text when I get in, and I say I will. We hug goodbye in your slightly illuminated living room. We haven't turned on the overheads, but there's a light creeping in from the hall, in from the bathroom, and we don't say it because we don't need to, and we don't need to because we know. This is what we live for.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Leigh.
That's my laughing club. I just want to thank you so much to everyone involved in Sewanee, Leah, Travis, Adam. They get thanked every time. My beloved dream teaching partner, Kirsten, and our dream workshop. I was also, thinking about how I know like Sewanee is generative. Everyone's writing new things, but it's also kind of restorative in so many ways. I think we sometimes people mention how the name tags have changed, but I do think this is the one conference I've ever been in my life. There's no bio reading before you read. And I really love it. Okay, so last time I read was 2 years ago, and everybody thought I was reading an essay from my real life. Actually, that was a short story. Although I loved being that person who was arrested for a wet and reckless, which is the word for drunk driving in Alaska. This story, and it is one, I usually try and do, in this book, which came out 3 years ago, I set like a different technical challenge for myself with every story. Sometimes that was a time challenge or a point of view. In this case, one time I wrote a historical fiction because I wanted to. This was a not quite realistic story, which I wanted to write. And I think the only word or thing you need to understand is that all of these stories are set in Alaska. This is a story in town, and by town, that's Anchorage, which I think people outside of Alaska think of as a city. But that's just because that's like all we have. I don't think the population's ever, there was a brief period where it got very big during the pipeline building in 1979, which is the time period that this narrator keeps referring to in the past. Yeah. And I will say there is one word, it's Athabascan, and in Alaska, there are about 17 native cultures. That's the word that people like to use. They're commonly referred to as native, just to like wrap up so many different cultures, but Athabascan is one, and it's the one culture that lives in Anchorage, generally. People come to Anchorage, but it's at least in the general area. And all of the signs and neighborhood details are actually real. I embedded real statistics about women throughout the collection. So they're actually all factual. You can look them up. Oh, though they're depressing. This story is called Our Family Fortune Teller. The sign in my window says card reader. It's a small, fuzzy, lit up, it is small, fuzzy, lit up in a shade of 1960s pawn shop neon that implies my lack of card reading expertise, as well as a dwindling interest in the so-called future of my business. Still, people knock on the door and come inside and come back and ask me for the kind of giveaway they receive at espresso drive-thrus, one free session for every 10. Nothing, it seems, is more trustworthy than irrelevance, except to a landlord. Today, mine is waiting for me at the end of our driveway. I hobble towards her, my knees swollen into fat black spiders of bone on nerve. She is new to the property. She does not know about my arthritis, and she struggles with her own discomforts. By the time I arrive, breast milk is leaking through her puffy down jacket. Her daughter grabs at the stains, balls them up with her baby fingers, and sucks on the warm, wet fabric. The three of us stare up at my home of the past 4 decades. It stands on the far edge of her 2-acre lot behind a clump of wizened spruces. Even considering the few remaining meth houses on our street, the last of the Latvian dating services, and the one remaining classic isolationist cabin bedecked with rooftop garlands of barbed wire, my backyard shack is fantastical. Tar paper flaps off the facade, full-grown alders sprout from the foundation. Anytime I flush the toilet, the front door bangs open and hits the wires dribbling off the eaves, releasing a lively shower of blue sparks. It's quite cozy, I say. Inside, my landlord sighs. I hobble in a little nearer. She smells of crisp white vinegar, soft brown shit, and the bulk rotting apples that she stores in the Arctic entry of her much larger, almost renovated house across the driveway from mine. It is astonishing what she has accomplished in just 6 months of hammering and sheetrocking, often with her daughter strapped to her chest in a sling. Now that the weather is too cold for home improvements, she whizzes through her kitchen, pureeing and baking and fermenting blueberry mead in casks she bought off the internet. In the yard, her just-washed clothes dry in rows of frozen cloth dolls clipped by their shoulders to the line. To my mind, you can't help but admire her work ethic, the new-to-Alaska idealism that radiates off her like a vapor of vitamin C. Her name is Violet. Her daughter's name is Michael. The idea being, I think, to give the baby an edge with the boys to come in school. Not that Michael needs it. She clamps her legs around Violet's midsection, gives me an appraising stare. Her eyes are the color of winter. She rarely blinks. The thing about the sign, says Violet, it's obvious. It's a lot. Agreed, I say, though not so obvious as Lucky Oriental Girl Massage. This was the sign in front of her house until the previous landlord, a paranoid hydroponic pot dealer named Reggie, cut it down and left it in the backyard to rot. My 11 years living next to Reggie were long ones, mostly due to his fear of DEA drones and radioactive mosquitoes, both of which he believed had been released throughout Alaska by ex-members of the KGB. Imagine my relief when he retired to Wasilla to play video games, selling the property to Violet and her husband Daniel. They laughed when they discovered the sign, then hung it over their couch until they decided it was racist and dragged it off to the Anchorage dump. Lucky Oriental Girl Massage was painted, not neon, and a quieter kind of advertisement than card reader, though equally misleading. None of the girls who lived here were lucky or Asian, though a few of the Athabascan girls wore kimonos, confusing only the most coked up of our clientele. All I'm saying, says Violet, is that you have your profession. We respect that. We'd never undermine your income. But maybe we can't sustain a lot of traffic coming in and out. A lot of people. You can see people, of course, but not stranger in a car people. Not with a baby in the house. She hitches Michael up on her hip. You understand, I hope? She can't talk, says Violet, though she does have deep thought. I lean into Michael, drinking her baby musk, so faintly discernible under her mother's herbal diaper potions. You should come in for a session, I say. She can't talk, says Violet, though she does have lots of deep thoughts. She nuzzles Michael's neck. Don't you, Michael? I meant you, I say. Babies and I don't communicate. Which is true, even if I expressed it incorrectly. Children are a silent mystery to me, as are dead people and anyone outside a 25-foot radius of my person. Everyone else I know the way Claires have known non-Claires for centuries. That is to say, with an intimacy that non-Claires both long for and fear, depending on the moment. Are we good with no sign, says Violet? Can Daniel come by after work to help you take it down? I thought he was staying late, I say, and give her a minute to think about his staying late. Can't you put Michael in front of the TV? A quick session can be, I search for a word in her vocabulary, refreshing. Violet smiles at me, a firm, kind no. On the way up the driveway, she stops to fiddle with the lid on my trash can. It doesn't fit. She knew it wouldn't, but still enjoys the pleasure of confirming such small, reliable irritations. She will buy me one tomorrow, she decides, with a moose-proof latch. Back at my window, I try to lift car reader off the sill. The sign is too big, the tube's too hot and sticky with frizzled bits of dead insects. I could unplug the cord, but the plug is hidden behind a bookcase that is too heavy for me to pull out of the wall unless I remove all the books, then move the bookcase, then unplug the cord, then move the bookcase back and put all the books back. My whole body throbs at this idea. The 2 white towels I drape over the neon smother the legibility of the words, but it still allows a dusky orange to glow through. Perhaps Violet will think of this as comforting, like holiday lights left up a few weeks into February, though I do suspect that my clients will feel slightly betrayed. The sign has been up since before my arrival in the early 1970s, when my predecessor, an Armenian Claire, worked on the property. At the time, the services it advertised were a rarity in Anchorage, and the reason why people say that Lucky Oriental Girl Massage became so successful. The city was overwhelmed with lonely, overpaid men working on the pipeline. Escort shops outnumbered schools and supermarkets. Card readers Leon led the establishment a certain cachet. In our present era, new clients use real estate as an excuse to knock on my door, claiming they are browsing nearby houses. The area, they say, is on the up and up. Spenard, a family neighborhood? Who would have thought it? They are too polite to ask if I have ever witnessed a Spenard divorce on the property. Spenard divorce being a distasteful local expression that refers to the formerly rampant execution of drunk wives by their drunk husbands in nearby homes and bars, usually by a shotgun blast to the face. They wonder if I've ever thought of selling. Then they say, as if the idea had never occurred to them until that second, "Are you open for a..." I point to the sign. Reading, they say? Reading, I suppose, is the closest word, but by reading, I think what the clients mean is seeing, believing as they seem to, that a Claire watches pre-recorded episodes of their lives inside her head. If only this were so, as I can't afford cable, and with my swollen knuckles, can hardly punch the buttons in the DVD remote. Imagine all the friends and admirers I would have if I had such visions. You put your car keys in the refrigerator, I would announce at the end of our session. Don't trust that coworker who brings in all those pumpkin muffins. The word voyant was only added to the word clair in the 18th century. Clairseer, the combined terms translate as a word I invented, I believe, to distract the public from our true abilities. We do not see any differently from non-clairs. We are not soothsayers, mediums, or mystics. We do not hallucinate, speak in tongues, or hear voices. All we do is know in flashes of exhausting clarity the thoughts muddled inside another person's mind, especially those thoughts too upsetting to fully consider. Children have traces of this ability, as do the mentally ill. Adults have residual vestiges they resist. Take Violet, my lack of health care, my lack of children or friends who might take care of me. She knows all this, though I've never told her. And yet she is trying to evict me, which she also knows and can't admit to herself at this particular moment. The car reader sign is just the start. She has spent the past 6 months fussing away her irritation about my clients parking in the driveway with imaginary anxiety regarding her paint chip selections and sourdough starter. Our family fortune teller, she calls me on the phone to her friends. She says this with affection that in the moment she almost believes, as in, our family fortune teller gave my daughter a Cheeto. Then she laughs with even more affection. What she doesn't know is that rubbing a crunchy, extruded corn puff against your gums is soothing to teething babies. I learned this not through my abilities as a Claire. As I said, I'm shut out of Michael's mind and that of any child, but through King Charles, my former employer, who bought bags of these electric orange snacks for the younger escorts when their wisdom teeth came in. Despite his swashbuckling frontier charisma, King Charles had a sensitive nature. He behaved with empathy and even understanding about my isolation. He brought me every book on my shelves, biographies, cookbooks, mysteries, self-help manuals, historical novels about the rise of the Roman Empire or the fall of Japan, and sat at my feet while I read to him, staring up at my face as if to commit my face to memory along with all the chapters that he often recited back to me, sentence by sentence. It took me longer than it should have to understand he was illiterate, that I fell in love with him, that I ruined it, that he paid me in poker chips or clothes with price tags pinned to the shoulders should not in any way diminish his achievements. He managed his escorts and me with an understanding that bordered on genius. No one needs a Claire more than a woman who has serviced a party of 10 drunk teamsters with a fetish for empty beer bottles. And no one needs an escort more than a Claire sitting alone in her backyard shack, exhausted by the darkness of other people's thoughts. Escorts, in my experience, are some of the most hopeful people on this earth. The real house they will live in one day, the Shetland pony they will own, the mothers and stepfathers and uncles who will beg them for their forgiveness when they finally do go back home for a visit. They don't just think all this, they believe it, so much so that it coats their fragile minds with a layer of ironclad fairy tale that comforted even me. How I miss them even now. Their junky lapses in conversation, their unexpected presents, chocolates, charm bracelets, tiny pink and blue glass animals purchased from the Avon lady once a month, unicorns and seals mostly, some of which still stand on the top of my dresser and shoot a faint, dazzling circus of color over the ceiling when the sun comes through the window. Tell me more, they used to say. Tell me about the time when I almost won that dishwasher for my mom on the radio contest. Long ago, I learned that a Claire can't tell her clients that she's just going out of business. They will show up and try to convince you otherwise. Consider the conflicts to come with Violet over the stranger in a car people in our driveway. I have only one option. Every client comes with a list of questions they forget as soon as they arrive. There is only one real question they need answered. The question is never what they think it is, and the answer they already know. And yet, during that last agonizing minute of a session, when they ask this question, it always surprises us both. Whether they come back or not depends on how I respond. After my meeting with Violet in the driveway, I begin to answer it incorrectly, on purpose. I tell the hairdryer he really does want to move in with his partner and buy a condo that he can't quite afford. I tell the college dropout her father will support her need to pursue pottery. Off they go into the world to make the most regrettable decisions of their lives, never to return. It is tiring, however, fighting your professional ethics. When my best oldest client shows up for her weekly session, I give up on driving her away. She is middle-aged, the mother of 2 teenagers. She has wonderful taste in nail polish, and this week has picked a fanciful powder blue that conflicts intensely with everything else about her. Her ironed hair, her pointy features, her incapacity to smile. "I'll sit here," she announces, swiftly pulling out a chair. She glances at my bed. The quilt is filthy. She can smell the dust from here. "If you don't want mites," she says, "you really need to change your pillow every other season." "You're right," I say. As I almost always do, the response calms her. She knows she has a problem with telling others what to do and how to do it, but she's unable to stop herself, especially when her job requires that she do that exactly. My best oldest client is the CFO of a small local corporation that peddles opiates to people with imaginary back problems through a chain of legal pain management clinics. She is excellent at tax strategy and increasing profits, but often finds herself in heated conflicts. In her mind, people don't like her because she refuses to dumb down, which led to a vicious fight at the neighborhood book club with Candace Mackey over the genius or not genius of Stephen King. In my mind, her need for authority undermines her ability to make friends. While I chop onions, she tells me that I really should consider a mandolin. They are easier than a knife and just as sharp. I look down at the counter, my gnarled grip. "Todd's confused again," I say. She puts her face in her hands, not to look at me. Clients never want to look at me. As we both know, her son, Todd, has a gun problem and a girl problem. He got kicked out of Diamond Lake High for scratching the word slut with his key on a girl's car. Then kicked out of the Fundamentalist Academy he attended due to the sizable donation that my best oldest client made after he threatened the school librarian with a fork. When my best oldest client would not kick him out of the house, her husband threatened to leave her and take their daughter. This led her to give Todd $20,000 in emergency money and house him in a condo she owns through a shell company. The boy is now 19. He has a trunk under his bed with a significant amount of automatic weaponry inside, as well as a smartphone he keeps duct taped to the back side of the tank of the toilet, which he uses to harass the girl via texts, as well as to comment on a Reddit thread called Incel Metalhead Mind Meld that attracts both fans of Motorhead and young lost boys who think that girls will never sleep with them because the girls are fucked up cunts or Jewish. My best oldest client is heartbroken about this. She knows who her son really is, the little boy who picked fireweed on his way home from school to give it to her, the boy who used to lie in bed at night describing the cabin he was going to build when he grew up, a cabin with bunk beds and a swimming pool on a mountain. She could live there too one day, as long as it was only her and him. If you don't want to cry, she tells me, you have to rinse the knife off with warm water, Lighting matches doesn't work. She then advises me to cut the onion crosswise and lengthwise so the whole bulb will fall apart into little pre-cut pieces. I do as she suggests, which she also like. Not enough people in her life listens to her, she thinks. Not even her own husband, an anesthesiologist whose medical license allows them to lawfully operate their clinics. Even though the idea for the business was hers, including the app they have created for home delivery. My hips begin to ache from standing, and my tailbone. I chop more slowly. Despite her lucrative success in pain management, she doesn't seem to notice the way I hold on to the chair for support, waiting for her to think about her son again. She studies the table, tapping her nails, considering if she should keep coming here. I am expensive. I am probably some kind of highly skilled fraud. My oldest client is not the first to have this thought. How I know what my clients know always happens too quickly to believe. They long for some struggle on my part, some pageantry. For a few years, I tried to placate them with tea leaves and tarot, both techniques I could not seem to execute without laughing. Towards the end, I even stooped to macrame, hinting that the disastrous tangled knots I created were somehow a product of their inner lives. Then King Charles gave me a biography of Sigmund Freud. The famed doctor cooked for his patients, I discovered, and served them elaborate multi-course meals. Doing so, he claimed, inspired deeper levels of intimacy. The same holds true with my clients, even if the meals I usually prepare for them are canned ravioli, sloppy Joe sauce on noodles. The onions came from a mesh bag of vegetables that Violet left by my front door. Fresh produce in the winter this far north still arrives by plane or barge. It is excruciatingly expensive. In addition, Violet shops at the one gourmet grocery store in town run by a Japanese family that stocks the seafood tanks with edible purple urchins. She feels badly about these urchins and also bad about the non-organic potatoes she gave me, which, like all root vegetables, just sit in a groundwater bath of pesticide. She is worried about my ability to care for myself in general, and whatever advantage my sorry physical state provides her in our owner-tenant conflict, you cannot fault her logic. I know all this because she is not puttering around in her own house 25 feet away, but right outside my window, shoveling snow. 2 feet of heavy drift have built up over my walkway. Someone is going to slip, she worries, and possibly sue. Onions, I tell myself, and toss the transparent bits into the pan, waving off the fumes. At this moment, my best oldest client thinks that I am a cold, unfeeling bitch and that I do not care about her or her son Todd. You keep looking over at that woman, she says. Can't you ask her to hold off until we're finished? She's anxious about her marriage, I say. Outdoor work helps her. When's the last time you got any sleep? Thanks.